If you follow baseball and collect sports cards, you've definitely heard the name Konnor Griffin. The number one prospect in baseball, minor league player of the year, five-tool superstar potential Pittsburgh Pirates shortstop. But there is some uncomfortable truth. His cards are already priced like he's a future MVP and Hall of Famer, and history says that is extremely dangerous for collectors. Today, we're going to deep dive into his real stats, why scouts love him and he's the number one prospect in baseball, and why the card market might be taking on massive risk. Griffin was drafted 9th overall in 2024 by the Pittsburgh Pirates straight out of high school, signing for over $6 million. Since turning pro, he's basically done everything you could possibly ask for from a teenage prospect. He quickly became the number one prospect in baseball according to every major scouting organization, and it's not just the hype, he produced immediately. Let's talk about his actual production because it's ridiculous. In his first and only minor league season in 2025, at age 19, he hit .333 with a .415 on base, .527 slugging, equating to a .942 OPS. On top of that, he produced 21 home runs, 65 stolen bases, with 161 hits, almost 100 RBIs in 122 games played. He literally became one of the only teenagers in decades to put up a 20 home run, 40-plus stolen base season, finishing with 65 stolen bases in those 21 home runs. And it wasn't just empty stats. He finished top 5 in the minors in hits, average, RBIs, runs. He won Minor League Player of the Year. He won a Minor League Gold Glove Award. This is unicorn production for a teenager. He even improved as he climbed levels. At low A, he hit .338, high A 325, and double A 337, all with an OPS above 900, meaning he got better versus tougher pitching. This is just insane. Now let's look into why scouts love him. Tools-wise, he checks every box. 6'4", elite sprint speed, real power, premium defense at shortstop or possibly center if the Pirates see a need to move him there. Plus arm, plate discipline is improving as well. Some reports even describe him as double plus speed with impact power, which is superstar profile territory. So, if he's this good, why am I saying his card market is risky? This is where collectors need to separate player value from card value because they are not the same thing. The first red flag is he's already priced like a superstar. His card prices are higher than every number one overall prospect since Bryce Harper. His base PSA 10 first Bowman autos are selling for upwards of $1,500, with number parallels selling for as high as $7,500 for non-true gold shimmer auto PSA 10s. The thing that scares me the most is his base autos since October have doubled in price as they were going for just $750. This is the off season when normally prices tend to go down, but because of his hype, his cards have doubled and they're getting super rare to even find anything numbered. This means the market is already baking in MLB success, early production, or an opening day call-up, his long-term health being totally fine with no injuries and no development stalls for a 19-year-old. That's a lot of assumptions. Furthermore, teenage prospects are extremely volatile. Even number one prospects historically miss, get hurt, stall at double or, for Connor's case, triple A, get sent back down to the minors after a premature call-up, potentially change positions as his size is growing up there at 6'4", losing power or their hit tool. One injury or bad year and his prices can drop 50 to 80%. Even with these insane stats and production and every scout in America telling you that he is the real deal, there are questions, and as a buyer, you need to be worried that you're not the one stuck holding his cards if his production stalls. His strikeout totals are still high for elite hitters, and he did have some questions on his hit tool only a year and a half ago when he was drafted. His massive body and size, does that have long-term durability? We just do not know. And his speed may decline as he fills out into his 6'4" frame. While none of these are deal breakers, and I'm certainly not telling you that Konnor Griffin is going to be a bad MLB prospect, his card market is though pricing him that none of these risks are there and that he is going to be the future of the face of the MLB. These prospect hype cycles are brutal, and cards historically peak at draft hype or when they become the top overall prospect, like Griffin, and pre MLB debut, which is also Griffin since he might make the opening day roster. These are just very worrisome for me as somebody who's been watching the market, who sold Griffin at what I thought was the peak right at the beginning of the new year. And since then, cards have still taken around a 30% increase, all due to the fact that everyone's telling you he's going to be the best. Normally, when that happens, a lot of people realize that they were wrong in their opinions. Here's the honest conclusion from me. He is a potential superstar, and he does have a true five-tool ceiling. And he could be the face of the franchise for the Pirates, let alone the face of the MLB. However, I think his cards might already be priced for a near best-case scenario outcome. What if he doesn't perform right away after getting called up as a teenager? Does this mean that people are going to bail and say he's one of, the biggest busts of all time if he doesn't hit 300 out of the gate and hit 25 home runs? This is just a massive volatility window. And I think there's a high percentage for downside if his development does slow. I would recommend, if you're buying, buy because you really believe in him long term, not because you think prices are going to just keep going up and you'll find an opportunity to have a quick flip. Because with the prospects, the higher the hype, the higher the risk. If you guys want more deep dives into prospect cards, subscribe and drop a comment with who I should break down next. And let me know, do you think there's still room for Griffin, or are you a little bit worried?